Hi, how are you? I'm going to read to you a little bit about the cake house at Lake Charles. In my book, Lake Charles, the way it was, there was a few paragraphs about the cake house. The building was a 25-foot square on the lower level, and the upper level was smaller and sat on top, which made the house look like it was a layer cake. The citizens in this hamlet used a number of different names for this unique building. The birthday cake house, the layer cake house, or the Christmas cake house. For sure it was called some kind of a cake house. The laneway to the cake house is south of the 24th Concession Road, across from where the Spicers built their first home. It was a log house on the top of the hill. Early in 1900s, the William Spicers built a new house below the hill, moving out of their log home. Marion Shane Dawson, after reading my mention of the cake house, wrote to me about spending summer holidays there. I would like to share with you some of her wonderful childhood memories. When I wrote about the cake house in the Lake Charles book, I did not have a photograph. Marion sent me a black and white photograph from which I drew this sketch. Can you see it nicely? Marion is granddaughter of Gilbert Gatus Ward and his wife Arla Mae Norrish. The Wards raised 9 children in what they called the Christmas Cake House on Concession 24, Keppel Township. The property was about a 20 or 25 acre strip of land touching the west side of the lake. I asked Marion if this little strip of land was enough to raise all these kids. She said raising 9 children on such a rocky piece of ground must have been very difficult. They had cows and horses for transportation in the late 1930s, and I recall seeing a picture of a rudimentary car which my grandfather had put together. Her grandfather worked for other farmers in the area. He was very handy and mechanically inclined, so would try to fix anything. Her grandmother raised turkeys to sell in the fall. They had chickens that laid eggs for family consumption and a few spare chickens for the stew pot. There was a huge barrel filled with eggs and brine for when the hens were not laying. Grandmother had a serious garden, which was located to the left of the front door. Vegetables from early spring to right through to the fall, fed the household from this garden. Marion's mother prepared for winter. Fruits that were in season were harvested, preserved, or canned. Wild strawberries, raspberries, grapes, pears, and apples were free for the picking. Grandfather made wooden boxes filled with sand to hold potatoes, carrots, turnip, and other root vegetables in the cellar. He also cut cordwood to sell in the winter, which gave them some cash. The house was pretty cool in the summer, except for having to use a wood stove, of course. My grandmother did her baking in the middle of the night, around 4 a.m., Marion said. I can't imagine a lifetime with that kind of dedication. I'm not sure exactly when my grandfather moved to Toronto. Vera, his oldest daughter, was married and living there, and I believe he stayed with her for a time while he was getting established, she said. Circa 1940, Gilbert Gatus Ward began his new job, working for the aircraft manufacturer de Havilland, Canada. The company was established in 1928 in Downsview, Ontario. He and his wife moved to a house on Osler Avenue in Toronto. Gilbert continued to work there until his death in 1955. Decades later, a new company, de Havilland Aircraft of Canada Limited, founded in 2018, purchased this aircraft program. When Elmer Ward returned from the Second World War, he purchased the lakeside property with the Christmas Cake House to use as a cottage and hunt camp. Marion spent many wonderful summer holidays there, always joined by her grandmother Arla, who continued to keep her large garden. The cake house no longer looks like a cake. The distinctive shape and stone walls were changed by new owners. Marion and her siblings recall that every rock in the area was their playhouse or apartment or pretend restaurant. The summer Christmas Cake House was a place that let imaginations grow. The end.